Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be sharing my top 5 dewy, luminous, radiant, glowy foundations with you guys. So basically this is going to be like an anti-matte video. I do have dry skin, so I do prefer a more like dewy finish on a regular basis. I'm also a foundation junkie and I love trying out new foundations. And I've said to you guys many times here on my channel, just because a foundation is like a matte finish, I don't just automatically boycott it because I can use other luminous products to give me the finish that I want. But if I can find a really good dewy foundation that obviously gives me a dewy finish, the coverage that I want, and it doesn't build up and look cakey on my face, then it's kind of like a one-stop shop. And I obviously rather do that than, mixing a bunch of products to give me the finish that I want. So I gathered together my top 5 like ride or die, tried and true foundations to share with you guys today. Like I said, I do try out new foundations all the time, like honestly weekly. And there are some really good like dewy foundations that I'm not going to mention today, but these are just ones that I love and have used for a long time. So I'm excited to share them with you guys. And this video is also in collaboration with my friend Ashley here on YouTube. And I'm so excited to be able to collaborate with her on this video. I will link her channel down below as well as her username. I believe it's txmommyofboys or txmommyofboys. But again, I will link the direct link down below for you guys. But I've actually watched Ashley here on YouTube for, I don't know, like a couple years now, and I just absolutely love her channel first of all, and I just love how genuine and honest and sweet she is. She's seriously probably one of the most genuine people that I actually watch here on YouTube, and she's got a great eye for makeup. I've actually got so many foundation recommendations from her on her channel, so that's why I think it's so awesome that we're able to come together and do this video. She's also going to be doing her top 5 favorite dewy foundations. I guess I forgot to mention that. I've also really loved following her on Snapchat and getting to know her in like a more, personal level. Just because I just find her so genuine. Like in her videos, like she's just sitting down with you and talking with you like if you were her friend, which I think is really awesome. And she's gonna be straightforward with you and tell you if she likes a product and if she doesn't like a product and why. And she just built a brand new house that is gorgeous. So it's been really fun to see all of that come together and just, see how it looks now. It's gorgeous, you guys, so beautiful. So she's just a really fun person. She's got the most beautiful eyes. So it's fun to watch her get ready with me and see how her looks come together. So I think you guys will really, really like her channel. So please be sure to go check out her video and subscribe to her. I'm actually probably over on her channel as you're watching this video, watching her video to get foundation recommendations from her. So I'm really excited to see her video. I think you guys will love her. So be sure to go check her out, and let's go ahead and get started with my top 5 favorites. So the first one I want to start out with is actually like my favorite foundation ever, not just in like the dewy category. This is honestly just like my favorite foundation like across the board, and it just so happens to have a dewy finish. So this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation. I actually did a first impressions demo with this foundation a while ago. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it or you want to check it out. But in that video, you'll see that this foundation does something so crazy when you first apply it. It literally exposes all of the pores on your face that you never even knew that you had. Which when I first applied it in that video, I was kind of like in shock, like what in the world did I just spend my money on? But as soon as you blend it out, it literally leaves your skin airbrushed, like flawless. And it gives a solid medium coverage that can be built up to full coverage very easily without looking cakey. It's also really lightweight on the skin and easy to blend and super easy to apply because it is a stick foundation. So you just apply it, like that, and then go in and blend it out. Also super convenient because again, it is a stick foundation. The shade that I wear is 120 or Y245. I don't remember which one is the new numbering system, if it's 120 or Y245, but either way, I'm 120 equals Y245 now. And this shade would match me if my self tan is starting to fade a little bit, or if I'm a little bit more fair. Right now, I'd probably have to use a little bit of bronzer to make it work for me, but honestly, it's just a beautiful foundation. So this is pretty much just like my little magic stick, if you will, and it is the Ultra HD foundation. So it's gonna be great for photos or filming like I am today, and it just makes your skin seriously look flawless. It's crazy how beautiful this is on your skin. So I always wear this when I don't know what foundation to wear because it's gonna be lightweight, it's gonna give me the coverage that I want, but it's also gonna make my skin look so good. So perfect for special events or just when you want your skin to look amazing. So definitely love this foundation. Had to mention to you guys because it's my favorite. So next up is a foundation by Too Faced. This is the Born This Way foundation. I actually tried this foundation for the first time on Father's Day, which is sometime in the summertime. I can't remember exactly which month it is, but I just remember it was extremely hot that day, like 90 degrees with like 90% humidity as well. Like it was steamy out that day. And for some reason, I decided to try this foundation that day. I'm not really for sure what my logic was with that, but all day long, I kept getting compliments on my skin. We went and had a cookout. I was outside all day long. We had fans going, but it was still like really, really hot. And the longer that I wore this foundation, like the better that it looked on my skin, which is usually the case for me because I do have dry skin, but this foundation just looked extra good on me. And not so much in like a dewy, greasy way, it just settled into my skin so beautifully. Like I said, I kept getting compliments on my skin, not my makeup, which I thought was awesome because that's pretty much like the biggest compliment you can give me because my skin has been so bad in the recent years. So anytime someone's like, your skin looks good, I'm like, hey. But honestly, it was all thanks to this foundation. It's just very skin-like. It gives you a very fresh face appearance, which is why I think it's a perfect spring summer foundation. And again, this one is very lightweight as well. I'm probably gonna say that about the majority of the foundations that I'm talking about today, if not all of them, because that's truly what I look for in a foundation. I want it to be lightweight, I want it to give me coverage, and I also want it to be like a more dewy finish. Of course, that's what we're talking about today. And the shade that I wear in this one is light beige, which would match me perfectly today, I think. So it does go with a self-tan for me. And it does have a pump, which is a big plus for me. I honestly feel like all foundations should come with a pump. Honestly, I feel like it should be like standard. If you're gonna make a foundation, it has to have a pump, but that's just my opinion. I just feel like you waste so much less product and it's a lot more sanitary. I almost forgot to mention the coverage of this. This does give you a solid medium coverage, but because it is so skin-like, it just like melts into the skin. And although it's not gonna cover all of your imperfections, it kind of just, I don't know, like diffuses them, if that makes sense. It just makes your skin look very healthy and radiant and fresh face. So that's why I love this one so much. It can be built up to a full coverage without looking cakey as well. So I just really, really love this foundation a lot. I think it's a great spring summer one. Not to mention there are so many different shades to choose from in this foundation, so I'm sure you're guaranteed to find a shade that would match you. So this next product is actually not considered a foundation, although I feel like it performs the same as a foundation, if not better. So this is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Color Correcting Full Coverage Cream plus Anti-Aging Hydrating Serum plus SPF of 50. So this is technically a CC plus cream. This actually came out around the time that BB creams were like all of the rage. And honestly, I was never really into the whole BB cream thing because it just never worked for me because there was no coverage with them. But this one is a completely different story. It gives you full-on, full coverage, plus added skin benefits because it does have the hydrating serum in it. So this is gonna be a really great product for someone that does have more mature skin or if you do have dry skin, because that hydrating serum is gonna soften your fine lines. The product's not gonna settle into them or anything like that. It's just gonna leave your skin very radiant, but also give you a lot of coverage. And I find myself wearing this one a lot during like spring and summer or the warmer months because it has the SPF of 50 in it. And I am always outside like running errands or, you know, in the yard. And this is going to protect my skin because of the SPF. And I mean, SPF of 50, that is insane amount of SPF to have in a product. So this has got you covered. Plus it gives me a lot of coverage on my skin, which is what I prefer. It's weird because when I wear this, I feel like I'm applying skincare, although I'm getting a lot of coverage because my skin not only looks very hydrated, it also feels like really, really moisturized. So this is definitely a favorite of mine. It does come in a squeezy tube, which I think is brilliant because you can really get all the product out, but it also has a pump too. So it's like the best of both worlds. I feel like they put a lot of thought into this product. The shade that I wear in this is light, but I will say the shade selection is a very, very limited. Like there are, I think, less than 10 shades, but the shade light matches me perfectly, so I kind of lucked out on that. I actually like the undertone of the shade light versus the fair shade and the medium shade. They actually all tend to have, I want to say, a gray undertone to them, but I feel like that kind of sounds morbid, but it's true. They definitely pull like a more like green, olivey undertone, which can appear to be, you know, a little bit more gray. So if you are someone with like a dominant yellow undertone or a dominant red undertone, this may be kind of a turnoff for you because it could look a little bit ashy on your skin. So just keep that in mind. I honestly haven't had any problems. I actually really like the way that this looks on my face. So I haven't had any issues, but I have heard other people complain about the shade selection. So these next two are actually from the drugstore, which is awesome. The first one I'm gonna mention is hands down my favorite find from 2016. This is the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation Concealer. And honestly, the name of this describes it perfectly because it conceals like a foundation. It's very, very full coverage. Plus it gives you a perfect canvas because it is a dewier finish, but again, full coverage, which is extremely hard to find. Like I mentioned earlier, usually with a dewy foundation that does claim to have like more full coverage, it's very cakey and greasy really quickly, but this foundation doesn't, which is why I love it so much. And it's from the drugstore. Like, I cannot believe a drugstore brand came out with a foundation this good in the like dewy world. The only thing that I can think of that's kind of similar to it is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation, I believe is what it's called. It has that huge doe foot applicator. I tried that foundation. I looked like I had a tub of lard on my face at the end of the day. It looked very heavy, very cakey. It accentuated my pores. It was just a mess. But I think the thought behind it was very similar to this, only this doesn't do any of that for me. It gives me literally a perfected face, full coverage, beautiful finish. It lasts me a full work day. So I did get 2 shades in it. I got one for when I'm fair and also one when I am self-tan. I have this one right here, which is 06 Sand Beige, and then I also have 02 for when I don't have a self-tan. And this is also oil-free, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. I haven't tried out those claims. I haven't been in the water or haven't been sweating when I wore it, but it does last a full work day for me and looks absolutely beautiful. And for me, this is pretty much like my go-to everyday kind of foundation because again, it gives me everything that I want in a foundation. The coverage, you know, the finish, all of that. But it's also very affordable to keep restocking on because I can just get it at the drugstore. So it's not gonna be super expensive. So that's what makes it such a great like everyday foundation. Okay, so then for my last favorite, or you're kind of getting a 2-for-1, I'm going to show you my old love plus my new love. I wanted to kind of give you guys an option. They're both really, really good foundations. Just one I find to be a little bit better than the other one now that I've tried a lot more foundations. So starting with the oldie but goodie, this is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation. If you guys have watched my channel for a while, you guys know that I used to use this all the time. Like every single day, this was my go-to foundation. And I feel like as soon as this foundation came out, then other brands started coming out with like more dewy, luminous foundations. And this was super hyped up here on YouTube. So if you didn't hear me talk about it, I'm sure you heard someone talk about it because the finish of it was beautiful, or it still is beautiful, but it doesn't give me very much coverage, which is why I don't use it as much anymore. This gives a medium coverage at the max. So if you are someone with more like perfected skin, you just want a little bit of glow, then I would definitely recommend this one because it's gonna give you sheer to medium coverage. It's never gonna build up to that like full-on full coverage. It doesn't get cakey though. I mean, you can continue to layer this. You're just not gonna get that pigmentation on the skin. And another thing that I didn't love so much about it is that it transfers like crazy. You can obviously powder it, but then you're kind of defeating the purpose of the finish of the foundation because it's very luminous and super beautiful on the skin. So that was kind of a downside for me, especially in the winter time. If you're gonna wear scarves or anything like that, I don't recommend wearing this because it will be all over anything that's around you. But I did want to mention it to you guys because it honestly is a great foundation, just not if you're someone that is prone to breakouts or acne because it is not going to cover any of that. And it's gonna basically emphasize all of that. So I don't recommend it for, you know, acne prone skin, but if you are someone that has dry skin and pretty perfected skin or even normal skin, this would be a really beautiful foundation for you. And then for my new love, this is the Rimmel London Lasting Finish 25-Hour with Comfort Serum Foundation. This is a skin perfecting full coverage foundation. The shade that I wear is 200 Soft Beige, and this shade would be like my self-tanned shade. So if I wasn't self-tan, I'd probably have to go get a lighter shade in this. But this foundation, as far as consistency goes, is very similar to the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect foundation that I mentioned a minute ago. But this one is a little bit thicker in consistency. It's not gonna be like super heavy or cakey on the skin. I think it has a lot to do with the comfort serum in it, but it is just a little bit thicker in consistency. This one also has a pore applicator, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like you guys know from earlier, I'm a huge pump girl. So this isn't really like ideal for me, but I can manage. I just pour it on the back of my hand and then apply it to my face. But the product itself is actually really, really good. Again, it's really full coverage, but gives me a dewy finish, which is awesome and really, really hard to find. And this one also claims to be sweat, heat, humidity, and transfer proof for up to 25 hours. There is no way I'm ever gonna wear my foundation for 25 hours, but if you needed to, this claims to do that for you. But I will say it does last me a full full work day. Like the max I've ever wore this is 10 hours and it looked really beautiful. And this was actually marketed as an anti-aging foundation. So basically for more mature skin, but I have to tell you it works great if you are someone with dry skin, which is a little tip that I wanted to give you guys. It kind of like went off like a light bulb in my head like 2 years ago. If you are someone that does suffer from dry skin, try out anti-aging products or products that are marketed for anti-aging, because I feel like marketing can be so tricky sometimes and kind of mess with our minds. Like if it says, oh, this foundation is only for oily skin, like a dry person's never gonna try it. Because obviously if you're like a 20-year-old, you're not gonna be like, oh, that's for mature skin, that's what I'm gonna grab. Like most people aren't gonna think that way. Like you'll obviously be in the section looking for things for more youthful skin. But dry skin is actually very similar to mature skin in the fact that you don't want anything on your face that's gonna emphasize like dry patches, lines, wrinkles, anything like that. And that is exactly what like anti-aging products are supposed to, you know, fight against. Which is also gonna be great for dry skin. And honestly, the same goes for other products like shampoos, for example. Like most blonde shampoos are very hydrating, but they're marketed for blondes. So most brunettes don't even try them, but they would actually work for dehydrated, you know, brown hair as well. And I'm not talking about like, you know, a blonde shampoo that's a purple shampoo. Obviously that would lighten the hair and take out the brassiness. So I wouldn't recommend that for like, you know, brunette hair, but honestly, it's gonna do the same thing otherwise. And you honestly could be missing out on products that could work really well for you. They're just not marketed for your specific situation. So just keep that in mind. But I just wanted to throw that out there and give you guys that little tip, because honestly, I feel like we're so sucked into marketing sometimes that it kind of just blinds us from everything else. So we totally could be missing out on some really good products just because they weren't labeled for us. But anyways, those were my top 5 like tried and true foundations that I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope you found the video helpful. And don't forget to head over to Ashley's channel and check out her top 5 favorite dewy foundations. I'm actually so excited to go check out that video myself. So please be sure to go check her out and subscribe to her. I think you guys will really like her. And again, all of her information will be linked down below in the description bar. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, feel free to subscribe before you leave. Just hit the red subscribe button and then be sure to hit the little bell on the side of subscribe so that you're notified when I make a new video. And I will also link my social media down below as well in case you want to follow me on Instagram or Snapchat. I'm always on there, not so much Twitter, but Instagram and Snapchat I'm on every single day. So you can follow me on there if you like. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye. So I'm really excited to share these with you guys someday. All of the other brands started coming out with like more Louis? Collect.